Many people find talking about their money really awkward.
Yep, we've discovered that recently, having been speaking to a few people that, actually when it comes to speaking about your own personal finance and your finance as a couple, people find it awkward. So we've recently been talking about our finances as a couple, and we wanted to share that with you in today's video.
We've been together now for about 10 years and we've been married for 4, but I think we've always seen our finances as one.
Yeah, even when we were dating, even when we started going out.
Yeah.
Not so much at the beginning because we didn't have any money.
No.
We were so young.
We were 16,
Yeah.
to put that into context.
So we didn't have a lot of money, but it was always like if we went out, we would never split the bill. I would pay, sometimes you would pay, and we just never worried about who was paying for what.
Yeah,
really.
we never thought, it has to be equal, and Brett paid last time, so now it's definitely my turn to pay, or it's $20, I need to pay 10.
Yeah, but then the crux of it really was when we got married. That's when we really had to consciously make a decision on how we were going to manage our finances. So the way that we did it was we set up a bank account, a joint bank account. We already had one actually, but we set up a new one after we got married. And that's the account that we both got our salaries paid into, that we pay for most things from. We also have our own credit cards.
Yeah.
So we sometimes use our credit cards to buy things. But then when we pay off the credit card at the end of every month, we always use that same joint bank account to pay it off.
So I think we have a pretty good idea of each other's finances, right?
Yeah. I'm not keeping anything from you. You keeping something from me?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I trust you.
But I think we're in a bit of a different situation because we got together when we were really young. And then we kind of went to uni at the same time, started working at relatively kind of around the same time. So we've always been in a similar stage of our lives. And I feel like that probably does make a big difference, compared to, I don't know, to be fair, you did start working a couple of years before me because I had to go to medical school and it was such a long, drawn out degree. So you were already working for 3 years?
Yeah, but then in terms of how much we were earning when you started earning as well, we weren't too far off. We've always earned a similar amount, to be fair.
Yeah.
Which maybe just makes it easier to do it our way versus two people who maybe met each other in their 30s or later on in life, and one's got a lot more money. I don't know, we can't speak on how that must be, but I guess all we can do in this video is share what we're doing and just provide some insight really, because people that may not want to talk about it, and I think it's a good conversation to have, even if it's watching us and not with someone that you know. I think it's good to think about and talk about money. So yeah, let's get into it. Get into it.
Okay.
Come on, get into it.
So I think there are 3 really common ways that people kind of manage their finances when they're together.
The first one is the proportionate method. The second
is the raw contribution method. And the third one is the complete combined method. So we already mentioned that we kind of aimed for the complete combined method.
Yep.
But the other ones also work for other people. So it really depends on how you and your partner work together.
Yeah. So the proportional method then, this one works where you can earn different amounts. Basically, it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much money you earn, because you're going to pay a percentage of what you bring in to pay towards those combined expenses.
Yeah, like your house bills and, for the vet bills that you need to pay or whatever it is.
Yeah, so you could be earning 10 grand, I could be earning 5 grand, you're earning twice the amount of me, but we both put 20% or whatever we need to make up our rent.
An advantage of that is that no one feels the pressure to kind of go down to someone else's budget or go up to the other person's budget. You're just kind of paying an equal amount and you feel, I don't know, that it's equal, I suppose, in that sense.
Yeah, that advantage to me sounds very similar to the advantage of just combining it like we do. Why would you do that over not just combining it? I guess trust.
I'm not sure.
And I guess with this method as well, if you don't want the other person to know how much money you have, they don't necessarily have to know. Because you're paying a percent. Oh no, but you're telling them how much you earn, so you're paying a percentage. So they're roughly going to know how much you're earning.
Yeah.
But I guess not necessarily how much you might have. So if you want to keep that a secret, because maybe you've not been together for too long yet.
That's definitely not the way to do it, right?
To do what?
To I don't know.
I don't
manage
know.
your finances as a couple.
I don't think so, but this is apparently one of the main ways that people do it. So.
Yeah, and I guess a disadvantage is that the person who's earning more could start to feel a little bit resentful towards someone who's earning less and contributing less.
Why? Because after 5 years, they've paid twice the amount of money into rent than the other person has.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but that's something that you'd agree at the beginning, I suppose, and you just have to accept that that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And if resent or anything starts to creep in, then you just have to talk about it and be open, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think that this is probably the least favorite of the options of combining your finances as a couple.
I feel like it's the most complicated one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we would ever do that, but anyway.
Actually, I think I saw a TV show once where people were using this method in the TV show. So they just moved. This couple had just moved in together, and it was into this really nice apartment. And the girl was like saying that she wanted to contribute, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, I want to pay my worth within the house." And then she asked how much the rent was, and this dude was like, "Yeah, the rent is like, I don't know how much, like 10 grand a month or whatever." And she was like, "Shit, I don't even earn that much." And then they agreed on paying a percentage. So I guess if you're not ready to share your finances completely, then the method where you split it might not be feasible for some people, which is why they might resort to doing this.
Yeah, and I guess maybe it works for people who also have large discrepancies in their income. Is that what you're trying to say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think, guys? Let us know down in the comments what you think about the proportional method, whether that's something that you think is worth doing, and how it might incorporate or work for you guys.
Yeah, which brings us on to the second method, which is the raw contribution method. So that's the second way that couples can manage the finances together. And basically what it is that you will contribute the same amount of money as your partner.
Okay, so whether you're earning the same or not, you split everything 50-50 down there, basically.
So if someone brings in like $2,000, the other brings in $2,500 a month, you both pay like $1,000 towards your bills or however much it is that covers it. You basically just split it in half.
Again though, like the complication, and it would just do my head in to have to always be thinking about what are we splitting, because obviously you're not going to split everything, right? You're not going to go to McDonald's and like take note of how much McDonald's was so you can split it 50-50 later. So it's like, what do you agree on splitting? And you know, there's got to be a line there, right? Like household bills, insurance for the car, I don't know.
I think maybe what would work for that is if you had like a joint account anyway, and then you both contribute an equal amount of money.
That's a good way around it.
Yeah, because that's what people do on holidays, and when they go on holiday with their friends, right? Like they have like a joint, I don't know, fund that everyone contributes into, and then whenever they go out for drinks or dinner, they just pay from that particular fund, which kind of saves them the trouble of splitting it every single time, like whenever they go for a movie or a meal.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to go around that, actually, to get around that. What happens then when you run out? You just both top it up again?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's a good way. That's a good way of doing it.
Yes, but I think like the main like flaw in that is that you're not really treating each other as your significant other or your other half. I don't know.
Why not?
Because when you're a couple, I guess being a couple is very different from being married, right?
I think it's different for every individual.
So I've been like talking about this, like combining your finances as a couple, along the lines of being a married couple, whereas a couple who is like, you know, dating or, you know, just moving in together, that's completely different. And
I don't know, I don't think it is. I wouldn't say so. Again, that completely depends, but like, if it was me and it was someone I was dating, and I'd been dating for a long time, but I just don't want to get married yet, because, you know, some people have commitment issues. They still might want to share that, like they might be ready.
Well, if they've got commitment issues, then they might not want to share all their money anyway.
Well, who knows? I don't know.
Don't know, but yeah, it just feels less marriage-like when you're doing that. And then also, like, the partner who earns more and has more disposable income at the end of the month may like splurge more on a more lavish lifestyle, and then leave the other person with less disposable income, and then feeling a bit worse about themselves. I don't know. I just feel like it just leaves that kind of that bit of, I don't know, feeling unequal. And
but then the only way to get around that would be to share all your money up front, and then you'd have to be okay with the other person like spending what you earn. I don't know,
Yeah, which is totally okay.
I think so.
Well, I hope you think.
I do, I think so. I think that's the best way to do it. There's a point here that says the higher earning partner doesn't feel penalised for their success.
I just feel like that's a really awkward thing to say when, you know, you're like one.
But I guess that's what it comes down to, really. People have such different like values and like ideas about money, because I would never have thought that feeling bad for your success would have come into it. Like if you're the one earning more money, I don't know, why should you feel bad about that? Just share it and like put it into the pot, but don't feel bad.
Yeah, it's true. Like when Brett gets like extra jobs on the side and stuff and gets more money because of that, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
More money for me to spend.
You're not kidding.
More money for us to save and to invest.
Yes. Yes. Taught you well. So disadvantages then, their relationship could become strained.
You can see why not.
Yeah. All right then. So complete combining.
We are total believers of this method.
Yeah, I think is the best way. 100%. wang all your money into one pot. Anything that you need to pay for, whether it's for yourself, for your kid, like, we've got one pot that we put all our money into, and if I want to buy a present for Evie, I just pay from that pot because I don't have another pot.
Yeah,
but
so basically he doesn't ever buy me presents. We buy me a present.
here we go.
Or
Here
we buy him.
There are clearly problems to this way of doing it as well.
I think it's good to have like separate credit cards because like, yeah, you can pay for it at the end of the month with your combined fund.
Yeah.
But then if you're wanting to get a present
Yeah.
for your other person, don't really feel like buying you a present at the moment or anything. But if I did, then I wouldn't need to tell you what it was. And you
I would
wouldn't
never
even
know anyway because it's not like I check our bank account very often.
This is true. Yeah.
But yeah, it is a good idea because it does give you that flexibility. Because if you wanted to
Yeah.
do something special like book a holiday or something expensive, something that you'd notice if you did have a look.
Yeah.
But I think then as well, the other strong benefit to this is that it does like give you some sense of we and like one. And I think when you're a couple, it's really important that you feel that way and that there's no sort of going behind each other's backs in terms of,
Or like
anything.
spending money that you don't want the other person to know.
Yeah,
about.
I honestly think that if you don't share everything, including all your money, then you're just asking for trouble, to be honest.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I guess it's also the argument though that you kind of have to, I don't know, protect yourself. That's why people wouldn't want to do that because, if anything does happen.
Yeah.
Because, people get divorced, people separate.
Yeah.
Like the divorce rates are pretty high, And I guess if you base it off that, then it'd be maybe considered unwise to not have your own money stashed away somewhere.
Yeah.
Not that I have my own money stashed away somewhere.
I know you don't. You wish.
Do you?
Yeah. Where's it coming from?
I don't know. You never know, you'll never know. So we've spoken about the three main methods that people use to manage their finances together as a couple. And I think that no matter which one that you guys choose to follow or which ones, you prefer, the main principles should always stay the same. So for example, the first one is to learn each other's spending habits.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that will go a really long way in preventing any future conflicts.
That's true. Yeah. That'll what's the word? Integrate well into whatever method you choose. I think so.
Yeah.
Probably having a budget.
Yeah, you can draw a budget together. That's
Yeah.
already my second point. You're stealing my points, Brett.
Sorry.
So if you could draw up a budget together, that would be great because, then you're not spending too much money on things that your partner disagrees on as well. Which
Yeah.
And
But I think as well as sorry, you
No,
done?
go ahead.
Done?
I guess I am.
Sorry. I think as well as having spending goals and watching what you spend on, it's also important to have sharing.
This is my third point. You're stealing my point again.
It's also important to have joint saving goals and investments.
Yes, this is what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You
Go
read
on
my
then.
mind. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna let you continue on that.
Okay, so my train of thought is that as well as spending, it's equally, if not more, as important to put your money aside for investment. So we try to spend around 30 or 40% of our income and invest 50 to 60%. So I think that, don't forget about that side of things, and especially saving for the future, saving for a rainy day, having an emergency fund. I think that's something you should split as well.
Yeah. And when you've discussed that and you agree on a figure, then it works out for the two of you.
Yeah. What else you got here then?
Avoid impulse spending or borrowing. Yeah, I think we're pretty, ever since we drew up a budget and we kind of track our finances, I really, really don't think we do any impulse spending anymore.
No, we're pretty frugal, to be fair.
Yeah.
We're pretty frugal. We try not to be too frugal because it comes across stingy, but I think it's important to save as much as you can and invest it.
Yeah, and I'd rather invest the $20 or whatever that I would have spent on some stupid cocktail, which I wouldn't even have enjoyed that much anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last point there is to sort out the important things first. So again,
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to have an emergency fund. So together save up 6 months maybe worth of living expenses so that if anything happens, you've got that money
Yeah.
for both of you to go for 6 months. Yeah. Maybe that's if you were ever going to have something individually for yourself. Maybe that's one thing that you should, because I think that's the number one rule in finance is to have that
Yeah.
emergency fund.
Because it's your buffer, right? Between, yeah.
And then after that, I guess you've got just the big ticket items like your rent, the bills, car insurance, car payments, things like that.
Yeah.
And once you've got all of that in line, everything else should be pretty much okay.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all we have to say about combining, managing your finances as a couple.
Yeah. Please do let us know down in the comments what you think. We've been speaking recently to our friends about it, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to convert from doing it our way. I think it's the best for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know down in the comments how you guys do it. If there's a fourth or a fifth or a sixth method, we'd love to hear about that, because you know, I think it's a really good space to get the conversation going. And yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.